Exclusive Ukraine expected to give up land, some arms under U.S. peace plan, sources say. November 21, 2025. The United States has signaled to President Volodymyr Zelensky that Ukraine must accept a U.S.-drafted framework to end the war with Russia that would require Kyiv to surrender territory and reduce parts of its military, two people familiar with the discussions said. The sources, speaking anonymously due to the sensitivity of the issue, said Washington wants Ukraine to agree to the plan's main points, which include cutting the size of its armed forces. Such terms would mark a major setback for Kyiv, already facing renewed Russian gains in eastern Ukraine and political turmoil at home. On Wednesday, Ukraine's parliament dismissed the energy and justice ministers amid a widening corruption scandal. The White House and U.S. State Department declined to comment. A senior Ukrainian official confirmed Kyiv had received signals about U.S. proposals reportedly discussed with Russia, though Ukraine had no role in drafting them. Zelensky, meeting Turkey's President Tayyip Erdogan on Wednesday, is set to speak with senior U.S. Army officials in Kyiv on Thursday. News of Washington's renewed push for a settlement sparked the largest jump in Ukrainian government bond prices in months. Peace talks between Kyiv and Moscow have been stalled since a July meeting in Istanbul, while Russia continues its nearly 4-year-old war, killing 25 people in overnight strikes. Although international efforts to revive negotiations are increasing, Moscow has not softened its long-standing demands that Ukraine renounce NATO ambitions and withdraw forces from 4 regions Russia claims. Ukraine rejects these terms outright. Russian forces currently control roughly 19% of Ukrainian territory and continue offensive operations while targeting Ukraine's energy grid as winter approaches. Zelensky said Tuesday he aims to reinvigorate negotiations and discuss with Erdogan paths toward a just peace. Turkey, a NATO member maintaining ties with both sides, hosted the only early round of peace talks in 2022 before U.S. President Donald Trump renewed efforts this year. The Kremlin said Russia would not join Wednesday's Ankara discussions but that Putin remained open to hearing results via the U.S. and Turkey. According to Axios, citing a U.S. official, the new plan would have Ukraine cede parts of eastern territory it does not currently control in exchange for U.S. security guarantees for Kyiv and Europe to deter future Russian aggression. European diplomats reacted cautiously. One described the reported plan as another attempt by the Trump administration to push Kyiv into a corner, stressing any solution must consider Ukraine and European allies. Another said proposals for Ukraine to shrink its army sounded more like Russian demands than realistic terms. A U.S. delegation led by Army Secretary Dan Driscoll is currently in Kyiv on a fact-finding mission, joined by Army Chief of Staff General Randy George, who is expected to meet Zelensky on Thursday. By Reuters, story by Tom Bomforth and Anastasia Malenko, November 21, 2025.